Could the Backbone One be the best mobile gaming controller out there? Let's dig into it. Today we're reviewing the Backbone One, and this little gadget is made for gamers who would like to take their gaming on the go without missing a beat. Backbone is the brain behind this controller, and they're all about leveling up the gaming experience. They really wanted to create something that was gonna feel top-notch, and honestly, it shows. So personally, I didn't like loading games up on my phone for two reasons. One, because it takes up a lot of space with some of those games like Call of Duty or PUBG. And two, you have kids coming up to you.
Do you got games on your phone?
But overall, I've had a blast with the Backbone One. I've had it for over a year. I was totally into breaking out of the lab on Prey, and I didn't want to put it down. The controls were spot on, it was responsive, and it just made my gaming experience really enjoyable. Now, let's talk features. So the Backbone One works for both iOS and Android, which is pretty sweet. It's super comfy to hold, and the controls are super responsive. So it's perfect when you're in the heat of battle. So looking at the buttons on the controller, we have that left side. It has the L1, L2 trigger buttons, the left analog, the D-pad, and it also has these two buttons for capturing and also a shortcut menu. Then on that right side, you have the right 1 and 2 triggers, you have the buttons, you have your right analog stick, you have this really cool orange deep button for the Backbone app, a little quick button, and also a menu button. So if you look on the bottom, you have a headphone jack and the charging port, and I'm running a Lightning Backbone, so that is the first generation because I use a iPhone 11 Pro Max. All right, let's get real for a minute. The pros. First off, it's pretty reasonably priced for $99 for all the features that you get. So there are other cheaper versions, but I feel that Backbone just gets it right. Number two, it's very compact and easy to carry around. I did opt to get a carrying case off of Amazon to carry it when I'm on the go and putting it in my backpack, because sometimes I just don't want things to bump into it. I found that over the year I do have a couple of markings on the sides of my Backbone, so I just want to make sure that it's protected and not rubbing against anything. I even have a spot for the lightning cable so that if I do need a charge, I can hook it up to my Anker portable battery in order to continue to keep the game going. Number three, if you're into Apple Arcade or you have a subscription, it totally enhances the experience with seamless access to tons of games. Now, personally, I use my cloud gaming, so I don't have to worry about going through the App Store looking for controller supported games. But when you are using this thing, you do want to make sure that you're choosing games that have that controller support in the menu of the app. Number four, this thing has no battery.
What?
At all. So the only thing you're limited to is your phone battery. So you can charge it while you are playing, but you don't have to worry about charging this, charging that. It's only one seamless thing. So it's awesome. All right, number five, the best part. Games don't take up space on your phone, and that's a huge win. Being that that was my personal experience why I wasn't really in the mobile gaming scene, I love that I can just use my cloud gaming to access AAA games to play on the go. So like Battlefield, Call of Duty, things like that. I don't have to worry about downloading them. Now, let's go ahead and balance some of those pros with some of the downsides. So the cons. Number one, if you have a phone case on your phone, it more than likely will not fit well with the Backbone, and I had to learn this the hard way. I was really scared that I was gonna bend my lightning adapter when you connect your phone, but I realized that it has to come off. So I have found that other people rock a like skin-like case on their phone, which allows it to be a lot slimmer. See, my case has more of like a lip on it, so it doesn't sit flushed into the controller. Now, there is a really cool adapter that they gave that fits right on the Backbone. If you're running a Pro Max version of your phone that the cameras stick out a lot more, it actually protects your camera by kind of giving it more of a lip so it doesn't rub against. So that's really cool. Number two, with the new iPhones coming out, they're moving to USB-C. So the Backbone is gonna feel a little bit more outdated, But they saved the day and they came out with a USB-C version. Now the downside to that, when I go ahead and upgrade my iPhone 11 Pro Max to the iPhone 16 Pro Max, I'm gonna have to update my backbone as well. So that kind of sucks, but it's okay. Number 3, now if you want to utilize this nice little orange button here, that is the Backbone, a quick connect to the Backbone app. It's a $50 subscription a year, and I'm gonna be honest, unless you want those extra gaming perks, you don't need it, especially if you're running your PlayStation Remote Play or the Xbox Cloud Gaming like I do. You can just access it right from your home screen without worrying about paying an additional amount. And last but not least, those trigger buttons can use a little bit more responsiveness. If you're like me who likes first-person shooters, Call of Duty, anything that, you know, any shooter game, I find that there is a little bit of lag, so you may need to go into your game settings and kind of change the horizontal or vertical sensitivity. I find that it made it a little bit more smoother. Now, with any other controller or game, when you're switching consoles, you have to kind of change how you play. And I find that when I'm switching from my normal Xbox controller to the Backbone, I have to kind of change how I play. Now that you know the pros and cons for this device, let's talk about some of their competitors. So there's 2 other competitors that I find that are worth mentioning, and that's the Razer Kishi and the Game Vice Flex. Now, those are 2 cheaper options, but most of the time cheaper doesn't mean better. So the Razer Kishi comes in at $79, but I find that a lot of the reviews explain how they have a lot of compatibility issues, and the Game Vice Flex comes in at $35, but a lot of people are complaining about poor build and a lot of latency issues. So Backbone is coming in at number 1 for me. Now that you know the pros and cons and my take on how I've used the Backbone 1, what's your verdict? The Backbone 1 is made, it's a great pick for both casual and hardcore gamers, but just be aware about those cons we talked about, especially if you're shelling out about $100 for it. I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10, especially since I can't use the Backbone function. That's cool, but it still ranks really high with me because I'm able to play all of my games through Xbox Cloud Gaming and not miss out on the fun on the go. So I wanna hear from you. I'm still a small enough channel to respond to all of my comments. So what do you think about the Backbone 1? If you have one, what games do you run on it? I'm always down for hearing you guys' recommendations and trying them on my own. If you like this review, be sure to check out my other videos on tech recommendations. My latest one is about my top 5 iPad accessories, and I'll see you in the next video.